Hello everyone, today we have a very special video as I recently ordered $1,000 worth of retro gaming controllers, consoles, and other stuff. Today we will be reviewing the items and showing everything that I bought. Then I will be telling you what items I'm going to be selling, and what items I'm going to be repairing, and what items will be showing up in later videos. The boxes are so big I can't show them in front of me as they will literally take up and probably crush the desk, as they are quite heavy and quite large. So, I paid nearly $800 plus $350 for shipping, to about a total of $1,086 for the entire order. We will get straight into it and open the first box. Box number 1. This has really got to be the biggest Sendico package I've ever really ordered. And to be honest, I'm really excited for all this. Here are all the 14 Nintendo DS originals, and we got them all for about $6.72 per piece after fees and shipping. Most of these consoles just have like broken screens, broken digitizers, or metallic plastic syndrome shells, like this one's yellow and this one's silver, and so most of them are just, broken in that manner. But here are the highlights of the ones that are the coolest. We have this red Nintendo DS in pretty good condition, some scratches and some wear, but other than that, it works perfectly fine. Just needs the screen protectors removed, and that one can be sold as it is. Dead lines, bad digitizer, dead lines, bad digitizer. This one, unfortunately, it's completely borked. It does not power on. The screen is like moldy up here, and from what I can tell, this thing was liquid damaged as the charge port is really corroded. Slot, this is corroded, that's corroded, the whole motherboard's done. It's not even a CPU 20, and all the parts seem affected by it. However, you could maybe get some rusted out hinge barrels, but you can see it's pretty rusty. This one is basically destroyed and will never be functional again. And maybe it could be scrapped for parts, but I'm not even sure about that due to the extent of the liquid damage. This one is in pretty good shape, honestly. However, the hinge is broken, as you can see. Typically on these things, the condition on the outside, despite the hinge, will sort of indicate how good the internals are on the inside. And since this one is in such good condition, it actually works perfectly fine. The screens are nice and crispy, bright, and it is very nice. It just needs a new shell, and it could have a new life again. Yeah, on this one we actually have a cool little slot covery thing. I'll leave it on here for now, but I think I'm going to put that on my blue DS, which I'm making a video on soon. This one, just dead lines, metallic plastic syndrome, and a bad digitizer. Number 7 here is very interesting. For some reason, it won't hold the cartridges in, and you can just press it in there infinitely, but if you hold it down, it will read the game. But I don't know who's going to keep a piece of tape up here to try and hold their cartridges in. So, yeah, and it's just falling apart as we speak. And so, This one definitely needs a new cartridge slot or something, but it's definitely repairable, and turning it into a macro is not really the best idea in my opinion, as it just looks better as a Nintendo DS, but I don't really know what to do with it. I'll probably just sell it for parts. Number 8 here is pretty exciting. We have a really scratched shell. It looks like it hit concrete or something, and it is not in really good condition. However, it works perfectly fine besides a bad digitizer and a finicky L button, which could be fixed by cleaning. So this one is a CPU 20, and it looks really cool for like a video. And honestly, I'm gonna do that one for a live stream, I think, as it's in pretty rough condition, and it's a CPU 20, so it deserves to be pretty much completely restored. This one just has dead pixels and metallic plastic syndrome. This one just has some dead lines. This one here, however, is almost comedically damaged. If you look, it's completely separated. The hinge barrels are completely gone. However, this is a CPU 10, fully functioning condition actually, which is kind of funny. It actually doesn't have any issues. Probably will have to replace the cable at this rate, but it still works perfectly fine, and that's pretty awesome. Bad top and bottom screen, also metallic plastic syndrome. However, this one is also a CPU 20, so that's pretty awesome. This one has a dead line on the bottom screen. And down here, we actually found this, which is pretty cool, a original R4 card. If you look, this is mine here, and it's just, you know, the standard one you can get online. It's a R4 gold card. I use this one to test all these consoles, as you can load some custom software to be able to test all the buttons and stuff on these. So that's why I have it, but this one's pretty cool to just collect, as it's a legacy one, because this one was produced before the company actually went away. That gold one I just showed you is just a reproduction. This is an actual authentic R4 card, which is pretty cool. It's not worth an awful much since those are generally better, but this one's a cool, neat little free collector's item. And down here we have some broken chunks. This is literally how much broke off during the process of just trying to test all of these. Like opening the hinge, this chunk would prevent it from opening or something. And it's just a lot of stuff, you know? We got these 4 consoles here. I primarily bought it because of this one in this case, which I'll get to in a second, but these were about $12.52 each after fees and shipping. It also came with this game here. It's not really that important. I don't know what it really is, but I'll just add it to my loose collection, as I like always collecting these little free cartridges they include. Here we have this one, which is just a standard condition, broken hinge, the top screen's failing, and it's not all that fancy, but it's pretty cool. Nice little console to get there. This one here is just a standard metallic plastic syndrome ridden Nintendo DS in pretty standard condition. However, it's pretty cool because it's a CPU 20, which is a nice little find, and it's pretty worn. It's used quite a lot. But putting a new shell on there and replacing the top screen since it has some dead lines could turn out pretty well, and I look forward to repairing that one. This one here is a standard console. It's just a pink system with some stickers that I'm going to clean off and remove and give it a little detailing like I usually do for these things. Try and maybe use a bit of a magic eraser and all this stuff. This one actually works perfectly fine. Most of them have dead batteries, so that's not why I'm showing them turning on. I don't want to have to swap a battery in there right now, which that's what I did to test all of them. So this one works perfectly fine. I'm not going to include this with this console, I don't think. I'm just leaving it on there because it's clipped on and it seems a little hard to remove. From my understanding, these are pretty rare, and this Mew one's pretty cool. So yeah, I look forward to selling that one online. It's actually pretty decent, definitely has metallic plastic syndrome, but the shell hasn't broken quite yet. And then down here, I just saw how phenomenally good this one was going to be. It's like a mirror, and it's really clean, to be honest. It's one of the cleanest Nintendo DS lights I've ever had in my possession. The buttons are really clicky, and it just feels really great. It's in perfectly fine condition. However, the bottom screen's just a little bit yellowed, that's it. And the stylus is really firm, it doesn't just fall out. Slot cover's nearly brand new, it doesn't even look like it was removed. And honestly, this one is definitely going to go for a bit higher of a price. However, it's going to go for maybe like 80 bucks maximum because just how clean it is. But I'll probably do leaning more toward like 75, as, you know, they're not all that valuable. These consoles here were about $10.75 a piece. They all have their own issues. This one here is a CPU 1 with a white top screen. It has some cool stickers on it. It's kind of cool. It has some Pokemon on there. And this one here has a Nintendo skin. Honestly, if I clean this one up a bit, it's not showing too much metallic plastic syndrome. So that one could be sold, and I think someone might enjoy it. But this one is just a CPU 1 with tested and working. It actually works totally fine. This one here, it's just a CPU 10 with a ripped cable, and it doesn't boot up. And the top screen is also smashed. I forgot to write that, but it is totally broken. And the screen cable is totally borked. And it's really showing a lot of damage here. The motherboard is almost entirely exposed on the edge here. So yeah, that's pretty rough, but I'll get that repaired for sure. This one here is in pretty good condition. It's not just as good as the navy blue one down here, but it is pretty similar. It's definitely pretty clean. However, unfortunately, the top screen is failing, and it had a lot of glitchy patterns all over it. It's pretty good, and it looks to be that I'm gonna be doing a top screen replacement on this one, as it's not bad at all. It's pretty clean. This one over here, number 3 out of the DS Lites, it has a bad bottom screen and the D-pad's bad, so I'll probably swap over one of the parts for now and then put it in here to, you know, get this one working and get that one out, because it's also in pretty good condition. Just a bit of glossiness around the buttons there. These 3 Nintendo DS consoles here, 2 DS Lites and 1 DS Original, I got these for about $16.82 per piece, and this one here has a bad A membrane. It just has some yellowed screens and some discoloration on the shell. However, it's still in pretty decent condition overall. There's also this white one here. It's a little bit discolored, just primarily dirty and gross, and it's pretty clean on the inside, and the top screen's also really bright. However, yeah, the battery's dead. The bottom screen was also glitching out just like that other console, and tried replugging in the cable just like I did with the other one, but it didn't work really. And so this one here, it's, you know, gonna be okay, but I'm gonna figure out how to replace the bottom screen with a different one. I'll just donor it from one of the others for now. Pretty good condition Nintendo DS in red. It's just needs a bit of a cleaning and a detail. However, it's tested and working with no issues found. However, I might want to swap over the bottom shell from one of the other DS consoles, as you know, it's pretty good otherwise. Okay, honestly, screw the stand for now. This thing here, it's a Korean Nintendo DS Lite. It's actually really awesome. I've never had a Korean one before. However, it's completely borked and destroyed. Someone decided to smash it and destroy both the top and bottom screen. As you can see, that's a crack right there. It's pretty cool. It could have been repairable. However, someone decided to take like a sledgehammer to it and completely destroy it, and I opened it up just to check if there's any motherboard damage, and of course the motherboard is cracked and several components are bent, and so it's basically destroyed, and it's only really usable for parts, but it's really hard to justify that due to the fact it is a rare Korean Nintendo DS Lite, and I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with this one, as it's basically e-waste, but it definitely has some usable components in it to fix some of these other ones, but I'm not really sure about that, so you have to figure that out. There's this console here, which I got for $19.89. It's in pretty cool, good condition, and it just has some yellowed screens and some discoloration. However, if I clean that up and used a bit of IPA, it could definitely clean up pretty well. That one can sell for a pretty good price. You know, I'm just flipping these for now because I'm trying to make a bit of money. Yes, all of these Nintendo DS consoles, as you see here, are going to be flipped and sold. Some of them are going to get definitely new shells, like those DS's, especially like that one, and that gray one right there. However, these are definitely going to be up for sale on my eBay page. I'm definitely going to mix up some parts and sort of do some stuff in my own time, as I did all this testing off camera. So just check that out, and you can definitely get your hands on one of these. If you liked something like this one, they'll be on there and they'll be put for a pretty fair price, and I'll make sure to describe every single issue with them, if anything. I kind of stumbled across a lot of slot covers and styluses, and these were so cheap I just couldn't ignore it. I got all of them for about $1.92 a piece. Definitely some of these are a little discolored, and some of them are definitely third party. However, people like to buy third party ones either way. I just have to mark that they're used and that they might vary a bit, but they're perfectly fine, and I'll just resell all of those, including these slot covers here. They're all pretty good and a nice little replacement for your system if you're missing them. And I thought I was going to need more of them, but honestly, all these consoles kind of already come with them, and it's just not really even worth it. Like this one might, but the hinge is broken, so I might even just take that out. Same for that Korean one, and same for this white one if I don't get it working. Just, you know, I'll just scrap and sell them separately. Well, there, we're done with the Nintendo DS consoles for now, so let's move on to the next items. So here are the Nintendo 64 games. We have Ocarina of Time, Mario Party 2, Mario Golf 64, Mario Tennis 64, Donkey Kong 64, World Cup France 98, Pokemon Stadium, Super Smash Bros. Again, Hey You Pikachu, Mario Party 3, Banjo, Kazooie. We got Pocket Monster Stadiums 2, Mickey Mouse Racing something, I think Speedway or something, Mario Party 2, Bomberman 64, Bomberman 64, still not sure what that one is, Mario Party, just Mario Party, Pokemon Stadium, King of Pro Baseball, Mario Party again, Mario Party 2 with some yellowing and some Sharpie. I'm going to try and clean that up the best I can. Banjo Kazooie again, Pokemon Stadium 2, and this Yoshi game again. So all the duplicates besides from the other lot are going to be likely sold, as I only need one game for my Analog 3D, but I am going to keep a few of these, like Ocarina of Time and like especially DK64, but some of these, most of them I mean, are going to be sold online. So if you're looking to get a nice 64 game for cheap, make sure to check the eBay page, as these will be listed up at the same time this video goes up. So make sure to check that out, and yeah. All these games actually cost me about $2.16. Of course, for the service of cleaning them and for everything in this video, I will sell it for retail price, as that's just the fairest. I will make sure to price everything really fair though, as everything will cost what price charting says, maybe a bit more or a bit less depending on condition. So let's go ahead and review what we got next. Okay, we got this lot of consoles and controllers and games of 2 Super Famicoms, some games, and some controllers. This listing was said that these 2 consoles are going to be completely broken and not read any games, and that's partially right and partially not right. We got these games here. They were all kind of dirty and had some issues. And we have grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, grade 4, and grade 5. At grade 1, we got Super Mario World, Mario Collection, Donkey Kong Country 2, Kirby Super Deluxe, and Bomberman 3. At grade 2, we have Donkey Kong Country, Donkey Kong Country 3, Donkey Kong Country 3, some sort of game, Street Fighter 2 and Street Fighter 2 Turbo. At grade 3, we have Bomberman 3, some baseball game, some anime game, Final Fantasy 4, Final Fantasy 6, Final Fantasy 6 again, and 6 again. Then we also have some other weird anime game that I'm not sure what it is. Need to do my research. Some game called Happy Train, I guess. I'm not really sure what it is. So those games, they're all fine. At least these are, and that one will be sold as working. These cartridges all had really, really dirty pins, and it makes sense why they thought these consoles were broken. However, this one works perfectly fine, which is a pretty good win. This console here is a little unfortunate as it is a 1-chip. I took it apart, checked the motherboard, and it's the first 1-chip I've ever had. However, this one had some graphical errors when trying to put a cartridge inside, which could mean that's the PPU or the VRAM, which could be an issue with the chips on the motherboard itself. I'm going to take it apart, try to clean it, same for this one, and try and see if I can get that one working again. However, for these controllers over here, they're just kind of extras, and these are going to just be put into the bin that I'll get to in a second. However, we also have that adapter thing over there, which is pretty cool. It's for adapter for probably one of these games. Bought it primarily for the controllers and the games. I was not expecting either one of these to work, but there's all that stuff. So we're gonna go on and move on to the next stuff, which is some more controllers. We bought 100 Super Famicom controllers. Well, why? I kinda really want a whole ton of these, as I want to experiment with trying to flip them and sell them online. We have some pretty yellowed ones, and most of them seem pretty okay. And I'm gonna go through, grade them, test them, swap some parts and stuff, and these are all going to be listed up on my eBay page. This is them in their ungraded and raw form that I got them from in the package. I've only put them in this box so far, I haven't even tested them yet. So regarding those 6 controllers, they can just go ahead and go in here. Same for those other 2. And so that will all be dealt with and handled accordingly, and that's going to take a lot of time. But some of these are going to get put with bundles of the consoles, but most of them are going to be sold individually. But next we have some pretty cool stuff to look at, so let's go ahead and put this away. Okay, next up we got these consoles, both for about $11 a piece, $5.50 for every controller and console. However, first we have this Super Famicom here. It's a 2-chip in pretty good condition overall, and it came with 2 controllers and some cords, which I'm not picturing here. We also got a manual, which matches the console by serial number. As you can see, 22887-805, so they match, and that's pretty cool. Those controllers will likely be included with the console when I go to sell it, as the system works perfectly fine. Next, we have this PlayStation 1, which came with this memory card. However, I'm going to go ahead and just sell that separately. This console here is in pretty good condition. However, the box is a little stained and a little damaged. But the most important part is that it actually came in the box, which was not pictured on the listing at all. And honestly, it was a big surprise to me that it did. So let's go ahead and review it real quick. In here we have, just cables, AV cord, power cable, and a controller. Down in here, after removing a little bit more flaps and stuff. Then inside the box here, we actually have the console, which it's not complete in the box, but so there's the box, and here's the console. The console's in pretty good condition overall, and honestly, it works fine from what I can tell. The console seems to work perfectly fine, and from what I could tell by putting a raw PlayStation disc in there, it kept registering it as a CD, and that's because I don't have a Japanese game, as this is a Japanese region-locked console. However, the coolest part, that's 5427847, and that matches the box right there. So that's pretty cool. It actually matches the box, and so I'm guessing that that controller matches as well. So I'll sell that all as a console bundle. I've never had a boxed PlayStation 1 before, so that's pretty awesome, and I was totally not expecting that. Let's go ahead and I'll get that packed up and put away, and I'll get to testing that later, but we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next cool stuff we got, which is the coolest by far out of everything we got. Okay, so here's this lot of controllers and some consoles. It seems to be from some sort of like e-way center, as it has these labels that say Eco Reuse Factory. Every single piece here we got for an average of $3.15 a piece, since it's kind of hard to calculate how much a lot costs, especially with mixed stuff like this. First off, we got a ton of PlayStation 1 controllers. The highlight is this cool concave one, which is actually quite rare. These are actually worth a little bit extra, like these are worth like 15, 20 bucks or something, and these are worth like 45, 50, $55, depending on the condition, of course, but that one's pretty clean from what I can tell, so if it works, after I test it and clean it, I'll probably list it for a good price. We got some memory cards over here, this Vagrant Story smoke black memory card. Pretty cool. The sticker's pretty rare, I'm guessing, so that's pretty cool. Probably gonna price that like 45, 50 bucks, as it is in pretty good condition. Got this lemon lime sort of color that's pretty cool. Got a heavily discolored gray one. Looks like it was left in the console for quite some time. We also got a GameCube memory card and a random GBA game, which I'm going to keep in my loose games collection. This Nintendo Wii and some games here. It's a Japanese unit, of course, but I tested it and it works perfectly fine. And these controllers here, I haven't been able to plug them in with batteries and test them yet, and some of them have some pretty bad corrosion. These three do. I really only need one working Wii remote to make a lot, so I can include it with these games up here and this console and that Wii nunchuck, but I'm gonna try and sell one console bundle with all that stuff there. We got Smash Bros, Paper Mario, Mario in the Olympic Games, Mario Party 8, and Donkey Kong Bongo something DX. So some pretty cool games there. And over here we have everything else. We got some Xbox Duke controllers, some Nintendo 64 games. This one's Kirby and the Crystal Shards in Japanese, and that one's just an extra copy of Pokemon Stadium. I'm gonna clean that up and test it and then sell it. Here we have this Nintendo GameCube, which I was really looking forward to, and it works perfectly fine. It's just the laser is a little dirty. I went to go plug it in, I put this game inside, and it just didn't read. I tapped the laser with a cotton bud, and it started reading up, and so that's pretty cool, and that's pretty awesome. I mainly wanted this because I want to play a GameCube and I want to build one. And I also have this silver Game Boy Advance right here that we got in the last Sendico order quite a while ago. And I'm going to mod both of these up and try to make some transparent purple consoles someday in the future. Make them fully modded up and play them myself. So that's pretty awesome. I can't wait to get to repairing that unit and reviewing that in a future video. And for everything else, we got some random Xbox 360 controllers, which most of them seem fine, but I'll definitely do some testing, but those are going to be sold. Then 3 GameCube games, a Game Boy Player disc, Naruto game, and an extra Naruto game, which we actually got 2 copies of the same game. As you can see, this has the disc inside. And so that's pretty cool. The loose one will be sold. I'll keep the boxed one. And then over there is just some loose PS3 hard drives, surprisingly, which I'll just be trying to sell, I guess. So there's everything. That's pretty cool. Now let's get to the final 2 items that we got in the Sendico order. So finally, here we have the 2 GameCube controllers. These 2 controllers cost about $15.73 a piece. We got this indigo one for my brother and this one for me, which is this nice spice orange controller, which I'm pretty happy about, as I was wanting one of those for quite some time. And this one's a little dirty and needs some cleaning and some new membranes, but they're both working fine from what I can tell so far. But certainly this one is in better condition than this one from what I can tell. But maybe this one will brighten up after cleaning, as it's pretty dirty. We got these sticks here, which is a pretty good little purchase. And these sticks here cost about $1.85 per piece. These actually only cost about 50 cents a piece with the actual cost, but plus shipping, it was about $1.30 for every item. So it's a little unfair to charge for these, but I'll just say that's how much they cost since it's kind of hard to calculate shipping costs. But I bought those because these might need some new sticks, as that one's a little yellowed, and I might need them later on and for some other controllers in the future. But there they are, my two controllers, which I'm going to be playing on that silver GameCube eventually. But there they are. Anyways, let's get to the outro.